Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100,000 subscribers, so your subscription will be much appreciated. Also drop a like, 1 second, massive difference, you know the whole drill. Today's video is a weird one, and it's kind of on two annoying things and then kind of a post-game recap, but not really. As of late, I've just really felt no need to commentate on really any game that I have watched, so I haven't really been uploading on here post-game recaps as a result. Not to mention I just haven't been watching as much as I normally would like to make content out of it. However, two really annoying things happened the other day, and one of which is really annoying, and that's the main thing that this video is about. So Rockets versus Warriors ended up being really close yesterday, and it ended on a Stephen Curry buzzer beater. And of course the headlines after this are Stephen Curry's first buzzer beater. That is because, technically speaking, while Stephen Curry has had now 8 game winners in his career, he has only beat the buzzer once. There have been multiple shots where there were a couple of seconds on the clock. In the case of the OKC game winner, there was 0.6 seconds on the clock, or it might have been 1.6, something like that. Either way, multiple game winners in Stephen Curry's career, but the headlines, first buzzer beating game winner. And it was that specification that led to a lot of really stupid bullshit takes. That was very frustrating. Now, I will fully put it out there that it is possible that a large percentage of these are trolling or bait, and I'm falling for the bait. But at the same time, there is enough people genuinely coming away with the take, like, criticizing Steph Curry for the fact that he just hit a game winner. I retweeted something the other day that was, Steph Curry is the only player who could get shit on for making a game winner. Y'all are so sad. Yeah, pretty much. 8 game winners over a 11, basically 10 seasons, because he's had so many seasons where he's out. That's not a bad ratio whatsoever. It's on pace for some all-time great amount of game winners. The most game winners in league history is 17 by LeBron James. So 8 over 10 years is not bad. And yet people are using this to say that Curry's not clutch, or this is evidence he's not clutch. I saw someone say you put Curry in the same conversation as LeBron. Meanwhile, he only has 1 buzzer beater in his career. Are we really going to be this specific with clutchness and game winners that it has to come down to the buzzer has to have been off, otherwise it wasn't clutch? Like, it was very stupid. A lot of discourse like that, and then I tweeted about that, and there was even some guy arguing with me that 8 game winners isn't that impressive. Yes, it is. That's a lot. It just is. It's kind of a burn. It kind of proves Curry isn't clutch compared to other superstars. He has 8 or 9 of these despite over 10 seasons. He's not clutch. That is extremely clutch. Do you know how common game winners are? It's not that common. Not to mention the Warriors over the past few years, especially 2015 through 2018, were so fucking dominant that almost like a large percentage of their games were won by like 20-30 points. So Steph didn't even play fourth quarters. Like, the Warriors were so good that game winners weren't even necessary, because usually they were blowing their opponent out. So that's not a criticism. Steph Curry is clutch. I'm not saying he's the clutchest player of all time, but this being used as an argument against Curry is like, you are just stupid. You are just plain stupid. And again, fully leaving room for some of these people to be joking or fucking with people, especially me. And Curry fans in general, even though I'm a fan of Curry, I feel like I wouldn't quite categorize myself there, because a lot of them go really far. It sucks that fan bases and player fans and all that are like that, to the point where I don't even want to identify with any of them because they can push it to stupid extremes. But yeah, if I was a real fan of Russell Westbrook, I really wouldn't want to identify as a Russell Westbrook fan because of the shit that they pull. So anyways, that's a whole other conversation. The next thing, the Chicago Bulls game. I did watch the fourth quarter of that Warriors-Rockets game because it was close and they had just lost to the Pacers, but not really much worth of note. There were a lot of Warriors fans I saw complaining about the fact that Steph just does not have the ball in his hands enough, which I tend to agree with. But at the same time, the Warriors system generally works. It just hasn't worked as of late, especially with Steph off ball not really being as electric as it typically is. But I didn't take too much issue with that, generally speaking, and the fourth quarter was fine. I mean, Steph didn't score in the last 8 minutes of the game until the game-winning shot over Kevin Porter Jr., and overall, it was probably not the best game in the world for him, but whatever, we're only going to remember that shot, and that's how it works, so it doesn't matter that he shot 38% from the field or whatever it was. The Bulls game is the one that I watched in full, and I'll say I'm pretty damn happy with my Bulls in this one. The fact that without Zach LaVine, without Derrick Jones Jr., without Lonzo Ball, and I'm not even going to say without Patrick Williams because they've basically been without him for the full year, but you could throw him in there if you want to. Without Javonte Green, who's a solid enough role player. All those players out, they beat a healthy Bucks team. And yes, I'm saying that knowing that Brook Lopez is out because I am Brook Lopez's #1 hater, and I don't think he makes the Bucks better. So I'm going to say a healthy Bucks team. So a very unhealthy Bulls missing arguably their best player. I still think it's DeMar DeRozan. DeMar has been not so great as of the last couple of games, and that's made people start to have a perspective shift, especially because Zach LaVine was really turning it on right before he got hurt. But regardless, at the very least, the second best player on the team, who's a 26-point-per-game scorer, not being there. Lonzo Ball is going to be out for the next 6 weeks, which fucking blows, but I get it. Derrick Jones Jr., who is probably the fifth most important player on the fourth or sixth most important player on this team. Don't want to throw shade at Alex Caruso. It's just we haven't seen him play for a while, so I forgot about him briefly, even though this video is partially about Alex Caruso. Where am I going with this? Oh, the Chicago Bulls severely underhanded, only lost by 4 to the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. Also stepped up their defense significantly, and I am of the opinion that the way that the Bulls theoretically beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs, even though, of course, I'm going to bet on Milwaukee in that series 9 times out of 9, the way that they would beat them would be essentially, yeah, Giannis has himself a series. I don't think there's any preventing that. Unless there is like a big trade like a Jeremy Grant who's a decent enough one-on-one matchup that you can then scheme around it, and at least that you have that solid enough foundation, you can build an actual good defensive scheme around it. But if you don't have that, and I presume they're probably going to get like Harrison Barnes or something who's smaller than Jeremy Grant, the whole tangent. Regardless, the point is, the way the Bulls would beat the Bucks is not by stopping Giannis, because even if you did have a scheme to slow him down a little bit, you're really not going to stop him. So you're not going to stop Giannis is basically the point. But they do have the personnel to really bother Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, who both had not so great games. Chris Middleton more so than Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was coming off of the bench because I believe he's recovering from an injury right now, although he still played pretty significant minutes. But regardless, the way that the Bulls would disrupt the Bucks and the way that they would beat them is that they would essentially take Giannis's help out of the equation. Bobby Portis also shot really poorly in this game, although that was less the defense and more just him missing open shots. But any game that you'd look at in the playoffs, most of the time where the Bucks actually lost was because Giannis was not getting enough help. There were a couple instances where he just had not great performances, especially early on in that Nets series. But in general, most of the failings of the Bucks in the playoffs came down to when Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton were not making their shots. So I think there is a world where Drew and Chris have piss-poor series versus the Bulls because they have such good guard defense, and then it becomes a Giannis solo act, and then it's a matter of if a Giannis solo act can single-handedly take them past the Bulls. And Giannis is so good that that's not out of the realm of possibility. But that's the avenue in which I see that happening. I'm glad the Bulls put up such a good fight. The offense kind of sucked, but the defense was phenomenal, and it was encouraging. One play to talk about. I don't have much to say about the game outside of that. But Alex Caruso goes for a dunk or a layup on the break. Didn't get an opportunity to see which one it was going to be because Grayson Allen just pulled him out of the sky in a play that is universally considered dangerous. Pulling on a player when they are in the air is a big no-no, and everyone universally agrees with that except apparently some Milwaukee Bucks fans on Twitter, which I hate to do this because I like the Bucks a lot. I was rooting for the Bucks for all of last year's playoffs. I went and saw them in the finals. I went and saw them in the second round versus the Nets. I was very happy to see the Milwaukee Bucks succeed and win that championship. That was really the best possible outcome to me. But your fan base was annoying yesterday, and I have to talk about it. Excusing the play, which was very clearly a dirty play, and honestly, I might say it was just a real bad look if, one, it wasn't Grayson Allen, and two, I didn't see him smiling on the bench, and three, if he had apologized to Alex Caruso or made any single modicum of effort to showcase that he was sorry for nearly ruining a guy's career, which is what Billy Donovan said about the play. But if you watch how Alex Caruso fell, that was very much, if you know, you know, the Andrew Bogut fall when he was on the Milwaukee Bucks. There were multiple different, like, you run that play back, there are multiple different versions of that happening where Alex Caruso, like, has a bone sticking out of his arm. Like, that was such a hard fall with a lot of potential dangerous angles for him to fall, and luckily, he was perfectly fine. Actually, he wasn't perfectly fine. Right after I recorded this video, Woj put out a report that he is going to get surgery that will take 6 to 8 weeks for him to recover from. So, suck my dick, Grayson Allen. But I'm telling you, I'll play it right here. This fall is fucked up. And it's not even necessarily that Grayson didn't initially go for the ball, but especially the reach back over. As far as I'm concerned, that's a dirty-ass play. And again, if it wasn't Grayson Allen, if he was apologetic, if he wasn't smiling on the bench as he got kicked out because he knew what the fuck he did, the little shit, I wouldn't have had taken issue with it. But sorry, there's just no arguing to me that this is not a dirty play. And some of the shit was annoying. And then the Bucks Twitter account just posted good morning and like a gif of him eating a donut. It's fucking weird. It's not funny. It's just, hey, look at this guy who got thrown out of the game for fucking trying to murder someone. I don't know. A lot of stuff that annoyed me. The title of this video is probably NBA fans are idiots, something like that. It's pretty accurate, and here I am catering to y'all. You're not the idiots, though. It's everybody else. That's definitely how it works. I'm sure there's some of you here that are the idiots, and I'll see you in the comments section. But yeah, that is it. Goodbye.